In just the first few days of our professional teams finally out there scrimming, we've seen some massive matchups. So we've seen Chicago versus Atlanta, Chicago versus Dallas, and the one that we haven't covered yet is this one that we're going to be watching today. We got Chicago versus, for the first time, the Los Angeles Thieves. So that LA Thieves team of Slasher, TJ Haley. You also have Temp subbing in for them right now. Who knows if that's who's going to end up being their fourth, but you've got Temp, and then you've also got Kenny. So those are the four. And then of course you got SCUMP, you got Formal, you got Dashy, you got Envoy. So pretty good matchup here. And this game actually ends up coming all the way down to the wire, all the way towards the end of the map here. So right now, we're on P1. There's about 28 seconds left of P1. As you can see here, Formal and SCUMP are pushing out this right-hand side of the map, trying to get those back spawns for P2. We'll go through, we'll talk about it based on who ends up getting these P2 spawns. But basically, all you're trying to do is just push out this back building. If you can, it's a nice power position to hop up in those windows, because once you get up inside those windows, you can see mid-map. You can see over towards the push towards lobby. This is exactly where SCUMP is trying to get that kill right there on Temp. So this is that power position, right? You can see the flank from the left, which is where they came from. You can see mid coming from P1. You can also see the push over on the right-hand side through lobby, and SCUMP is just going off with this Craig. It's kind of cool to see him using a Craig. Who knows what they'll actually end up using in terms of what the meta will be. Right there, he ended up dying to Slasher, and he had an AK, but Formal's using the Craig. So it still seems to be a little bit all over the place. You know, some people like the AK, some people use the Craig. Crim6 uses the Craig. Clayster uses the AK. So it does seem to be all open right now. And also, if you're watching the kill feed in the bottom left, you can also see that Envoy's using the AK-74U. So interesting with that also, because everybody's going back and forth between the AK-74U and the MP5. So I'm interested to see what happens here over the next month as we lead into our first tournament overall. So right now, Chicago's actually down by about 23 points, and that's surprising because they won the rotations for P2. They were able to get in the back there. They just weren't able to get that next wave of kills to secure the majority of the time there inside of P2. And now as we've rotated over towards P3, they've won this rotation also, but they're not doing a great job in those choke points. So let's go ahead, let's break that down so you guys know exactly what's happening there. So we'll pause this, we'll bring up our map for Moscow Hardpoint, and we were inside of P2. So they were here, and as they were on rotations, they had control of this back building. Once they went down, we were seeing SCUMP flank all the way through courtyard over here through P4. He got this kill right here, and then once he got that kill, he was able to push through bank and get all the way behind. Once he got back here behind P3, that set them up for the spawn so that they could go through and enter P3. But where they have struggled, they weren't able to get kills off rotations of P2 as the Thieves. It's really weird to see. I don't know what I was going to say as LA or as the Thieves rotated there. It's really weird to say. But as they rotated over, they weren't able to get kills in this choke. And if they pushed through Eskies through P1 to this mid cut, they weren't able to secure those. So even though we're about 30 seconds into that P3 hardpoint, they still don't really have the lead that you would expect them to have at this point in time, just because they haven't done a great job of getting kills in those chokes. Even right now, you can see the current hardpoint is, or at least it was, being controlled by LA there. But looks like they finally have it under control. The last 20 seconds might end up going towards them. My guess would be Formal would be inside the hard point right now, just watching that cut over on the top side of the map through top Eskies. And now, as we're rotating over to P4, I really don't like the location of this P4. I just think it favors those spawns for P3 also. I really do enjoy when the P1's in the middle, and then P2, P3, P4, and then potentially P5. I know a lot of these maps don't have a P5, but I like when they flip-flop and go back and forth. But it is what it is. It's the location, and you just got to do with what you got here. So P4 is popped. There's 36 seconds left. The majority of this time has already gone to LA, and if you're OpTic here, you just have to get in. I know that this is really tough, and coming from this side, it's more difficult. That's part of the reason why I don't really enjoy this map all that much, because if you're coming from that opposite side, it is super hard to try to push in because you don't have that initial head glitch like the other way does. So as you see them get close, especially over towards that jump up window where you saw Scump go on that last life, once you go ahead and get that jump up, on the right side of that jump up, there's an initial heady there. So even if you are coming from that bank side and you don't have control of the hard point, you can slide into that heady and you can essentially just contest and wait for your teammates to come through. So unfortunately, for OpTic, they weren't quite able to get in, and they didn't have that side, so there's no place equal to that on the opposite side of the map. But with this, we are on to the second. Scump's a little bit cracked right there. Nice kills on Slasher. That's like 2 lives in a row he's able to get Slasher there. But we are into the second set of rotations, and that spawn right there from Scump means that they probably aren't going to end up having rotations here as it rotates over towards P2. And if that's the case, you got to try to get as much time here inside of P1 as you can, and it's just not going their way so far, right? They weren't able to get, basically, they had rotations for P2, weren't able to get a ton of time. They rotated early, had rotations for P3, weren't able to get a ton of time inside of P3. Went to P4, they got flipped out, so they didn't have the dominant spawns for P4. As we went into the second set of rotations, they ended up getting beat inside of that P1, and now they lost rotations for P2. So, with that said, if you're able to get in contest a little bit and win the P3, P4 rotations as it goes back to the other side of the map, now you're in, you're back in business a little bit. But this isn't necessarily a good sign, right? This hill is already halfway over. So if you're flipping and you're getting that correct spawn halfway through the hill, you might be able to split that time, but you're not going to be able to piggyback that or get more time as it rotates over to P3. And it looks like that's in the position that they're in right here. So last 17 seconds or so of P2 on the second set of rotation should end up going towards OpTic Chicago. But as it rotates over, we'll see if they're able to win rotations. This does get down to a really close game here as we continue forward. So at some point in time, Chicago's going to go on a little bit of a roll here. We'll just see when it happens. But we've already talked through each of the hard points and where you want to be, where you want to anchor from, where you want to lock down spawns, all of that. As right there, you just saw Scump was 21-11 with this Craig. So who knows? Maybe this will be the meta for them. Maybe Formal has that lockdown. Ooh, nasty 3-piece right there. So yeah, maybe that'll be the meta, is that Formal has that anchoring, that lockdown AR. And then Scump plays a little bit of a faster flex role, maybe at least on the bigger maps such as Moscow. And then Envoy comes through, runs the SMG, and then Dashy also. I haven't actually seen what Dashy has, but my guess would be that he would also be rocking a Craig at this point in time. We'll watch the kill feed and see if he ends up popping up there and what he's using. But with that, if you're new to my channel, about halfway through the match, I really do like to turn up the comms and let you guys listen. Dashy right there is using the AK. So interesting. I would have thought that Formal would be using the AK and Dashy would be using the Craig, but hey, maybe the AK just gels for him a little bit better. But if you're new to my channel, halfway through, I really like to let you guys listen to their team comms because I think there's a lot you can learn from what I tell you. I also think there's a lot you can learn from what they're saying and what they're communicating to another, as Scump is just frying. But with that, let's go ahead. Let's turn up the team comms. I'll still hop back in where I feel like there's something that's super important to go over. But let's go ahead and let's listen in.
Wait, one pitching statue, I think.
Yeah, he's gotta be.
When we get that spawn, there's always one
pitching statue. Teach. He's going street or some shit.
He's watching the heady, bro.
He dead.
Nice. I'm on new.
Left that hill, Donnie. Fuck, it's kind of weak.
I'm picking up left street. I'm picking up left street.
Go ahead.
Okay,
I'm gonna get your.
Top of us, Donnie dead.
Top off, Donnie.
I killed Don.
I'm gonna go get Eskies right now.
We're here.
To their mid.
I'm gonna hold
They're
Eskies.
heady, Kenny dead.
Make sure we don't get flipped.
That's cool. They're hitting left street, guys.
Stay down hill, I have Eskies, okay?
I'll help you left.
I have to push on hill. We need to get a trophy their side so they can't smoke
I
it.
can't.
Could be on the statue on me. One's in window, Donnie.
Yo, one
dead.
guy's far left.
One statue on me.
I'm watching behind you, Matt. Watch behind you, Seth.
I'm just slid next to me.
Far left slasher. He's weak.
Kill the guy on me.
I will say, this is pretty impressive gameplay out of Scump here. For somebody that really doesn't use an AR that much, he is ripping Temp and Slasher over and over again. He's ripping them off of their head glitches. So this is a pretty impressive map here out of him.
Donnie
Got
dead.
two.
Nice, 3. Yo, last guy
Up
window,
right.
window, tree, he's tree.
Okay, I'm backing up.
Kenny dead,
Tree
yeah,
dead,
dead.
tree
Nice,
dead.
nice,
I'm
nice.
gonna
I'm backing up, I'm
walk
backing
right.
I
up.
have time though if you want.
I have it too right now. I'm good.
Okay.
Watch
I'm
my
gonna
Eskies maybe. There's two there mid.
Yeah, they could be SCs.
Watching window crossed.
I'm holding back
Got
right
two.
now.
Nice.
There's one more there. One more there. Right side. He's flooding your right. Flood right. Right in front of you. It's Donnie.
I'm holding back left. I'm
holding-
holding
Yo,
this.
SC
I have
close,
back
bro.
left.
Kenny.
They could
SC
go
going
through
where?
room though. They could go through room.
Okay.
Yo,
Yo, pick up room.
I
also.
spawned out P3, guys. I spawned out P3.
Did you?
Yep. One's our mid.
Yo, let
Nothing
back
else
left.
can
Right
be
back.
Yeah, so as they're watching this here, they have done a pretty nice job. It's only a 30-point game after being down by 60, 70, 80 throughout the last 3 hardpoints. So they did a nice job inside of P4, and they won the majority of the time inside of P1. Now they have rotations for P2. So if you're looking to mount a comeback, this is how you do it, right? You gain rotations, you get map control, you get that initial time inside the hardpoint, and Scump was watching their push to the left-hand side there. He's going to give it up, and you can see, even with 30 seconds, he's hoping that his teammates could have clutched up a little bit. Unfortunately, Formal, Dashy, Envoy, they all go down. So Scump left a little bit early so he could get rotations and rotate early to get over towards this next P3 hardpoint. We'll see if they're able to lock down the cut. That's what they've struggled with so far, but this is shaping up to be a pretty good final here. Let's listen back in.
Yo, you might want to let me get hill. I have 10 bullets. Let me get hill. Let me get hill. Let me get hill.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
one's
playing
front right.
back right. I'm playing back right.
I just have to lay down on hill. I literally have 10 bullets.
Is that a room?
Two front hurt.
Holding mid. Nothing good so far.
Destroyed their trophy front.
Yo, one guy pitching. Fuck, bro.
You're good.
Yo, there's
Middle
three.
dead, middle
Donnie
dead,
dead
middle,
front.
middle.
Two more.
Two middle.
up,
Flanking you, Seth. Flanking right here. Two of them.
I'm
Yeah, elbow,
bullets,
elbow,
bro,
elbow.
on hill. One
Come
pushed
on,
up, jumped up, one jumped up. On the
Yeah,
half
laying down
ledge.
the balcony. Slasher, close right.
Nice,
good.
Jay.
One
Right,
more
right,
front. One more front, guys.
Yo, in our
Donnie.
mid alley, he's going our elbow. I should have a kill.
I'm looking at it.
Dead.
Front left guy. He's standing
Another
on
one
that. Just standing on the smoke.
Yo,
standing
two
on the smoke.
are mid. Two mid. Last two
my
are hitting
flank?
elbow. One more.
I'm helping.
Nice kill inside the hill there from Envoy, and Dashy gets 2 pushing through mid. So at this point in time, if you're LA, you have to rotate. You have to make sure that you have the spawn setups and the power positions as it rotates over to P4, because even if OpTic gets the final 10 seconds here, they're still going to have a chance. OpTic can't win on this P3 hardpoint, so it is going to rotate over. If you're LA, you just have to watch the push, and that's what they're doing, right? They're just setting up in the chokes. TJ got the kill on Dashy. He also gets a big 2-piece on Scump. So had one of them been able to push through, you could have hit window, or you could have hit their flank, but now they've got basically one more chance to push through. Another 2-piece there from Temp.
I got Austin Hill. One's pillars.
Pillars dead.
Nice 2-piece. There's one more.
Absolutely dead.
Nice pillars again. Pillars.
Weak pillars.
They have a trophy.
They're gonna spawn back. They're spawning back.
Yeah, I killed the trophy.
I pillars.
Kill behind pinch. Oh no.
Yeah, pinch got me.
Wow, I was nading.
Try.
Okay.
What?
That was, what a play right there. Let me go ahead and let's go back to that, because that was a great play. I think it was Kenny that came through pinch from mid. I think there might have been one more also. Who was it? Envoy ends up, he said he goes down from pinch. So right here, Temp gets the kill on Formal. Kenny gets the kill, and Slasher gets the kill on Envoy. Not quite sure where Slasher was. Does he end up killing him right here? Dashy kills Temp, and then Dashy goes down. So it looks like Slasher and Kenny both ended up hitting that flank, that pinch from behind. And that's essentially the same thing. Let me go ahead and show that real quick, because that's the same thing that Scump was trying to do when TJ got that 2-piece inside of shop right there. So if you are 100 Thieves and you're getting this spawn, obviously you can push up, you can get on these headies, you can get behind the car inside of P4. But rather than just have everybody posted up in this area of the map, I think they had 2. I couldn't quite tell. I didn't see where Slasher was exactly, but Kenny for sure hit through mid. He was able to push through P1, and they were able to get Scump as he came through, and then as he pushed forward, he was able to get another. So just that one pinch right there took out 2 OpTic members, which basically left it in a 3v4. Dashy was able to get kills inside of the P4 hardpoint, but it just wasn't enough. and that's how it ended up going down. So you had a 250 to 248 victory there from LA. SCUMP, let me go back to this. SCUMP ended up 41-19 with 15 objective kills. So he didn't have a ton of time inside the hardpoint. That was for Envoy and Formal. Normally what happens here is as the hill pops, Envoy is the one that's up in their business and getting the initial time inside the hill. Then as everybody rotates, Formal's kind of the last one to just get the last 20-25 seconds or so, while Dashy, SCUMP, and Envoy rotate out and try to earn rotation. So that's what happened there. Again, super competitive map. I can't wait to see over the next couple weeks how this evolves. And if you can't wait to see how it evolves, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I put out a brand new video like this breaking down Scrim gameplay every single day for the entire COD League season. That's what I'll be doing. So if you're new around here, that sounds good to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you have anything, comments on this, what do you think about LA Thieves? Do you like this roster? Think they're going to be able to compete with some of those top squads? Put it down below. Leave a like. It helps out the channel. With that, guys, thank you so much. We will see you in tomorrow's upload.